and Damon here from Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short. They made what into a TV series, Castlevania Nocturne Season 2, Episode 2, Angel of Death, written by Testament and directed by Sam Dietz and Adam Dietz. Cool, we're off and rolling fully now. After a strong opening episode, we now have stories to tell. But first, we got to go back to the past. We begin in 1199 CE Egypt. So yeah, when we say go back to the past, we're taking a piss. And we see a group of priestesses, including Doltra, who's human, within Sekhmet's tomb. Seems they're a peaceful group of people who've basically been driven out and lost their goddess, who's recently died. She's being prepared as we speak, as a mummy. But they're attacked by these group of people and many are killed. Doltra is knocked out, and when she comes to, she finds herself surrounded by death. Panicking, she goes to Sekhmet's sarcophagus and finds it empty. Upset, fearful for her goddess, she begs for strength, offering up a willingness to do anything. Coincidentally, when that happens, she hears a noise, going to investigate and finds a vampire feeding. Nocturne, more than any other series of the Castlevania original, does horror better than any other. And the shot of this vampire with blood dripping down its face, I thought was pure horror again.
Yeah, it's very, very bloody and gore.
Oh yeah. I love that they are quick to always be like, this is still a gory show. It's still aimed at another audience because it attacks, and Drolta has no choice but to fight, but she does manage to kill it. She sees this as a sign though. So drinks its blood, which obviously, if she survives, will transform her into a vampire. And that's explanation for Drolta. And already the connection she will have to Elizabeth that goes on for such a very long time. In the present day, Richter, Annette, and Alucard have sought out Juiced before they go to Paris. Juiced, who gets so much more to do in this. I was worried that this seemed like an easy character to kill off for emotional reasons, because hell, we don't need two Belmonts running around. But you know, it's great that he's in here as well. They find his home on fire, bodies strewn about the place. They fear the worst because there's a body face down in the water that looks like it could be an older white-haired man, but it turns out just to be a vampire. But he's actually fine because he's literally pissing next to Richter while Richter's like, oh, thank goodness me. And he's just having a piss in the water. I know that Alucard gives him shit over that. Like as well, because like, why are you pissing when you drink, you idiot? You know, Belmonts, man. It's here, Annette notices a figure standing on the other side of the water, a kind of shapeless, shadowy figure, but disappears when Richter kind of runs past her vision, and they basically quickly fill Juiced on recent events. And Juiced he's again a Belmont. He's so matter of fact about it. Oh right, so that's what Eclipse was. I thought that was a bit weird. And he's like, all right, Alucard, if you're around, then it can't be, if you're back, it can't be for good reasons. So basically telling us, they know each other.
Yeah.
They've met before, he's been here, or they've met somewhere else. That's a story to be told later, I reckon.
Yep, indeed.
Meanwhile, night creature Drolta is finding out how powerful she is and enjoying the daytime. It's been a while, and even Elizabeth is like, she's loving this. So basically what Drolta is now, it's Drolta, but without the vampiric weaknesses.
Yep.
Now I was a bit like, oh, this is a bit of I thought it was a little lazy. I was like, well, that's a lazy way to just bring her back. Now, I think they recover part of this at the end. At the end, when the whole no soul thing comes back and results in her doing something that she probably would never have done had she been the vampire.
Yep.
But I didn't necessarily I was happy to have Drolta in it, but it still felt a little lazy. It's like, oh, it was a little too easy.
Yeah, it was a very, very, very convenient way to bring her back. You know, stick her in a machine. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, love the show, not flawless. Even it will still make mistakes. They discuss revenge as Drolta points out that Alucard is going to lead them to Sekhmet's body. Juiced wants to go to Paris with them, but Richter's like, look, I need you to stay behind and look after Maria. Fucking good thing he does, doesn't he? God almighty. Alucard briefly mentions to Annette his history with the Belmonts. Nice, little talk about his past with the Belmonts there.
Yep.
And the fact that he hadn't been around one for a while, he seems to suggest. He'd stayed away for a while. I like the fact that he suggests he stayed away for a while because they were irritating him. Like that's
Yeah,
what I want, you know?
yep,
Before they go on their way, but they're unaware they're being watched by a vampire. Elsewhere, Mizrak and Maria are walking through town, noting that they no longer seem to be as welcome as they were. There's a lot of Elizabeth-style symbols on doors. It looks like everybody's kind of gotten league with Elizabeth, basically.
yep,
And they arrive at the edge of town to see a mob heading towards a National Guard encampment. They're heading to Maria's home. Basically, it's time. Maria's collecting some supplies because, let's be honest, probably shouldn't go back to that house for a long time yet.
yeah.
But she has a moment in her mother's bedroom, and then we get that horror again because one corner is clearly darker than the rest. I spotted it immediately. I was like, "That is a
Yeah.
really shadowy looking corner," because that's where a vampire is standing, and it's Terra revealing herself, hoping to speak to her daughter. Maria is naturally scared of her mother's vampiric state. Not helped, and this is where they're really nailing the Terra thing, because Terra's like, "Oh, don't be scared of me," but also I can smell you, I can hear your heart beating from all the
Oh,
way over
yeah.
here. I'm like, the fuck? Like, I'm like, stake her, stake the bitch, stake her.
Not a great thing to say.
Do you know what I mean? That's terrifying. It's really, really nightmarish stuff.
Mm,
Mizrak outside is a bit like, she's taking a while. So comes in to check on her, intervenes, and look, it's classic Mizrak. I love the character. I
yep.
love the character. But like, you don't even fucking stop to think. He's like straight away, yeah, yeah, yeah. He just doesn't, and he immediately tries to attack Terra.
Mm,
He is no match for her. He'd be dead. But she doesn't want to kill him, so she kind of just dodges his blows until he calms down a little. Well, until Maria intervenes,
mm,
and basically Terra is forced to leave. Great scene. Great scene.
yep.
Like, there is no character, I'm going to say it now, there is no character I feel sorry for in this show more than Mizrak.
Yeah.
Even now, in the face of everything and his bullshit leader, the abbot, he still believes. I mean, fucking, Maria questions his faith. And he's kind of like, yeah, like even now, in the face of everything, he still believes in God.
Yeah.
He,
Well,
still, he believes he
well.
believes in redemption. He believes in redemption.
He's loyal,
Crazy.
he's loyal to the end, so.
Yeah, but like it's incredible because how conflicted the character is. Let's not forget, he is doing something sinful he's done something simple with a vampire of all things. He has been in a sexual relationship with a male vampire. Like Bible-wise, God-wise, that's a big no-no. Do you know what I mean?
You're going to hell. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a health thing, but it's certainly a big no-no. I know it's like a stoning thing in the Bible or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not. You know what, Damon? You probably everything you got to hell for. Well, it's a sin. If you
It's a
sin,
sin,
you
yeah,
go to
yeah.
hell. Right. Well, just
Yeah.
repent at the gate. Don't forget, just repent at the gates of God, and you're fine.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, concerned. Right. So Juice gears up and heads into town. On the way, visiting the grave of Liddy Belmont. It's his wife, obviously, and he apologizes and claims, "Look, I kind of have to stop hiding away. It's time for me to rejoin the fight." I love his outfit. I love how Juice Belmont looks as a Belmont. That red cloak.
Yeah.
No more hiding. He then opens a secret compartment of wall and removes a ring. Putting it, now this is important because you went, oh, it's just a ring. No, look, he make sure you see him put it on this finger.
Yep.
It's his wedding ring. And he says, perhaps this time evil doesn't have to win. Listen, we could scream and talk about how great the voice actors are. But Ian Glenn is special to us because Ian Glenn has been in a lot of adaptions that we've done, including a major role in the Resident Evil Mila Jovovich movies. So having Ian Glenn play a bigger role in this and hearing his voice, I love it. Of course, if you're a Game of Thrones fan, you'll love this character as well, this
Yep.
actor. Like, he's a fucking fabulous actor, and I'm glad to have him in the show.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely. Yeah.
Olrox is introduced to the new Droltan, who, God, this is some of the most tense shit.
Yep.
It's very suspicious of his intentions. You're like, oh, well, you went out looking for them and you didn't find anybody. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, he's able to deflect really well, particularly the Mizrak one. She's like, well, you didn't even find the monk. And he's like, I didn't even bother looking for him. Like, he's that lowly and unimportant. Why would I bother looking for him?
Yeah. Very smart.
Outstanding. But he does inform Elizabeth about the National Guard, who was pleased to hear that because they need more bodies for the Forge Master. And he's basically more Olrox is like, well, cool when night comes, and Drolt is like, why wait for night? And flies off, basically, as Olrox looks on with some concern, a little
Yeah,
concerned. Things are getting out of control again. More out of control than they already were, but also
yeah,
that she's asking big questions about him. On the way to Paris, Richter and Annette share a couple of moments while gathering supplies. A little bit of light. We need to lighten the load here. There's some comedy about gathering mushrooms and hunting rabbits. We
yeah.
need some lightness, particularly as her visions of dead ancestors are becoming more intense. She's being visited by the dead, and they don't seem to be willing to tell her anything. Alucard has gone to get them a boat, allowing a group of vampires to get the jump on them. It's a good fight because these are good vampires. These aren't no silly vampires. They're tough, so it's a good fight. I
Yeah.
think the action in this season is stronger than any of the action in the first season.
100%.
We have some fights coming up that are simply, I think, gobsmacking.
Yeah, absolutely outstanding. Yeah.
Yes, but they beat these vampires, except one who Richter decides to gloat over, carelessly telling that one where they're going, allowing that vampire to escape.
Typical
Fucking
Belmont.
Richter. Fucking Richter and that gobby mouth.
Typical Belmont.
Did you think that vampire, so he was a little fat guy, short and like a little bit short, little fat, little bit weaselly. I felt that the animation with that was designed to make him look like, fuck, what's his name? Varney from season 4.
No, I thought the exact same thing. I thought it even looked similar to the facial expressions. Yeah,
Yeah, I got a little Varney vibe from him. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? So that was quite cool. Richter and Annette, like, basically decide not to tell Alucard as he arrives at a boat. And there it is. There is the Belmont Alucard thing. They're like, oh, well, he'll just tell us off and all that. You do, no wonder he has to treat you are children. And Alucard's like, you don't want to tell the angry parent that you fucked up, basically.
yeah,
That's what it
yeah,
is. Mizrak sees Drolta flying overhead. I love that shot. Like they do, it's animation, but they made me feel the heat because I'm blinded in the sun trying to look, and you see the
yeah.
shadow fly over. Fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
She arrived at the National Guard campsite, who were dealing with an angry mob. The soldiers turn their attention on her. Yeah, this is not a fight. This is what you call a slaughter, a
Yeah,
bloody,
yeah,
gruesome, violent slaughter. Uh, Mizrak run. It's cut between Mizrak running towards the encampment. He's just tired of this. He just wants to save someone. He's just going to run in there and confront this thing, even if it fucking kills him.
yeah,
But Olrox grabs him, before he runs on. But they kind of struggle. But he drops to his knees. He's crying, like he's a broken man. He just everywhere he goes, something horror, and he doesn't have the strength, and he knows it. He
yep,
will die. Olrox tells him, "You will die," and he knows that. It's the abbot, and like Olrox tells him, this thing is your abbot's fault again. And like I know what Olrox is doing, but like, goddamn, he's already a broken man, Mizrak.
yeah.
He don't need to hear. He's trying his hardest to save the soul of Emmanuel.
Mm-hmm.
Like he will try one more time, and that's an incredibly powerful scene.
It was
But
deep.
that's to come in the future. But for now, seeing him on his hands and knees and crying and just like, I love that they made me give a shit about these animated characters.
I know, I know. And Mizrak he's I wouldn't say he's a major character, but he has a massive role from
He's a
season one and season two.
He's a powerful secondary character who does
Yeah,
take a little bit of a backseat for a while, but there's a reason why not everybody can have big story threads, particularly as this series' main focus are two other characters that
yeah,
we're going to start getting into more and more. You're seeing it already. You've seen it already, but we'll get into them more and more as we go on. For now, that is episode 2. We should add, actually, they focus on a particular character from the National Guard, a female commander, and that's important because she will become a night creature with a little bit more to do, particularly from an Edouard point of view.
yeah,
But she dies anyway at the hands of Drolta. She pretty much gets, yeah.
yeah,
Drolt, basically, this is a show Drolt was power, really more than anything else.
yeah. She's completely massacres the entire army.
On her own as well. Yes, fabulous. I love this episode. I loved it for its development. I love the fact that it felt like a baby step. We didn't rush. We didn't go, now they're at Paris. But we quickly pushed things on nicely in a way as well. By showing us how Jolter becomes a vampire at the start, that was an incredible moment as well. To Juiced, all the stuff around Juiced. I loved all of that. I was so invested in this at this time. I love this. Another incredible episode.
Yeah, indeed. As I said, I watched the entire series in about 5 hours. So.
Yeah, it's that bingeable, and it's because of stuff like this. That was episode 2, Angel of Death. You got any thoughts on this? You know what to do. Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.